What is up, guys? I got a build guide here for you. This is just a Stormweaver Sorceress build. I'm using Cast on Shock with Ball Lightning. It's casting Lightning Conduit, does a lot of damage, as you guys saw in the clips at the beginning of the video. I'm just going to walk you guys through the gems that I have, show you my gear, passive tree. There will be a written version of this linked below as well. So for gems, I do have Sigil of Power and the weapon swap. Very good. I like to use it on bosses just to get some extra damage. In the weapon swap, I'm also using Blink. So I can teleport around. If you guys have seen that tech. But for our main gems, Cast on Shock, 20% quality is very good. Quality increased energy gained, which is obviously very good. Lightning Conduit, again, quality for the 20% chance on consuming a shock to reapply it, which does back Cast on Shock more. Energy retention, considered casting, and impetus. That's just to help with the energy gain, a little bit of damage on it with considered casting. And then got Ball Lightning with conduction for more chance to shock, overcharge for the magnitude, forcing current. This will just help with clear, just called shock proliferation basically. Arcane tempo, just so I can get a little bit more cast speed. Frost Wall, I mostly just use this like for defense really. If like a bunch of mobs are swarming me, I just throw that down and then throw my Ball Lightnings through it. They'll keep mobs off of me. And I'm using Spell Cascade on that with Icicle and Glaciation to help freeze enemies. Then we got Orb of Storms. This is one that I don't really cast that often. Mostly just on bosses with Magnified Effect and Lightning Exposure. I think my plan is to get rid of this and my 4th Ascendancy take Elemental Storm. And then it'll just be auto-casted, and I'll put Lightning Exposure on that so I don't have to worry about casting Orb of Storms. For a curse, we're using Conductivity with Persistence and Heightened Curse. This increases the effect and the duration, so I don't have to cast it as often. Mana Tempest with Premeditation and Inspiration. This one I don't really use on bosses, I just use it for clear. It just makes the Ball Lightnings hit more, shock more, do more damage. Generally just good if there's like a large pack. And then Blink on the weapon swap with increased cooldown recovery. Lightning Warp, this is just a cull, really, for like rares that don't die in 1 or 2 hits. It is also good for like when you clear out a pack of monsters and there's 1 or 2 stragglers, you just hit them real quick. I got Life Drain on it with Soul Drain and Lightning Penetration. Lightning Penetration is, I mean, kind of pointless if I'm being honest, but it's what I have set up in there right now. Then Archmage with Clarity, Cannibalism, and Lightning Mastery. Cannibalism was great whenever I was doing like partial mind over matter. These notes here, 10% damage taken from mana before life, and then I was running those before, and Cannibalism was great for recovery, but now I'm mind over matter and my life doesn't really take damage, so Cannibalism is less important. But that's the setup I'm currently running. And then for gear, this is my wand. Gain 25% as extra fire isn't amazing. I would prefer that to be lightning or cold maybe. Spell damage could be higher, mana could be higher, but generally a very good wand. Chance to shock, plus level lightning, got mana, it's got spell damage. Can be upgraded, but pretty good. Helmet also isn't amazing, but it does what I need. 248 to the energy shield, which with Eldritch Battery converts it to mana, which is good. Intelligence, some resistances. Chest piece, 654 energy shield, 115 life. Resistances. Oak Sworn for the Spirit and the Chaos Res, also for block. I do have some block nodes taken on the tree. I think my chance to block is 55. Good. Amulet is very good. The maximum energy shield could have been higher, but that's fine. Mana regen is the implicit. Added mana, added spirit, cast speed, intelligence, 14 to all elemental resistances. I'm almost capped, not quite. This ring isn't great. Got 107 mana and some attributes, 1 res, or res I guess, with implicit, but this can definitely be upgraded. This ring is just reses, really. There's a little bit of mana on the implicit, but mostly just reses. These are my boots: movement speed, life, mana, strength, resistances. I definitely need to upgrade these. I would like a energy shield base with a lot of life. Well, I guess not life. A lot of energy shield, mana, movement, and some resistances. I'm using Kotoko's Current. Lightning damage from hits contributes to electrocution. This just stuns everything. Very good. This is my belt. Also very good. 159 to life, 155 to mana. Mana plus recovery rate is whatever, but it's useful. Some resistances and stun threshold. Getting stunned is very annoying, so I like this belt a lot. It helps with that, and then the freeze charm. The getting stunned and frozen isn't as big of an issue. Flats don't really matter. Whatever, you can get a lot of recovery on your mana is good, but... Alright, and for the passive tree, I'm going to start with the Ascendancy. I've taken Constant Gale for Arcane Surge permanently. Force of Will for the increased effect per 15 maximum mana. With almost 3200, that's a lot of cast speed and mana regeneration rate. And I've taken Strike Twice. This is very important. Applying 2 shocks to enemies stacks up cast 1 shock faster. Makes Lightning Conduit do more damage. And then the less duration makes it to where they fall off quicker. Which means I can reapply it, which stacks cast 1 shock even more. So this is great. I would recommend going Constant Gale first, and then Strike Twice, and then Force of Will. My fourth, I'm going to take Elemental Storm, just so I can put Lightning Exposure on that instead of Orb Storms. If you want to be min-maxy, Scouring Winds is probably better, but I'm going to go Tempest Scholar. I went up the spell damage side. You can take attributes if you want. It saves you 1 point. I haven't done that yet, but I probably will. An Open Mind for mana regen, cast speed. Take this lightning damage and chance to shock node. I take this mana percent and add flat, which is great. Come over here, take this magnitude of shock. This increases your lightning conduit damage even more. It's also got some mana regen. More mana regen here. Mana recovery rate. Come all the way up. This whole thing, lightning penetration, shock duration, and magnitude. Lightning damage per 10 intelligence. I have a lot of intelligence, so that is very useful. More intelligence here. This is all mana stuff. Use maximum mana. Mana regen, 3% spell damage per 100 maximum mana. Increase mana regen while moving. My mana regen is 372, and then while I'm moving it's 449. Eldritch Battery converts all my energy shield to mana, so like the energy shield bases, that's just more mana. Take this whole trigger wheel. Recover 3% of mana when you invoke a spell. Helps a lot with recovery, and then triggered spells deal more damage, and then fund energy, or chance to. And then over here on the left, I've got Mind Over Matter. I was running these before Mind Over Matter, but now Mind Over Matter, and then I'm going to take these next for more Arcane Surge effect. Magnitude, this is with shock, and elemental damage, all res, and all the way over here for block. It's all block chance, 1% increased damage per 1% chance to block, so that's just 5% more damage there, or increased damage, I should say. So the defensive layers is Mind Over Matter, and block, and then a lot of recovery, basically. But yeah, that's my passive tree. Like I said, I'm probably going to go here next. After I get that, I will go down, and then likely into this lightning wheel. Chance to shock, lightning damage and cast speed. Probably these 2 sides. I don't think I'll take this one. But yeah, that's currently what I'm running. It's all very good. I have, where is it? This Anointed. Recover 2% mana on kill. This just helps with recovery when clearing a map. When I'm happy with how much mana I'm getting per second, I'm going to anoint Dynamism for increased damage if you've triggered a skill, and then increased energy gain. But for now, I'm just running Siphon. And then for my jewels, I have meta skills gain more energy, chance to shock, metal damage, penetration, chance to shock, triggered spells deal more damage, mana regen, chance to shock. few different things you can use to scale this build, but yeah, that's all what I'm using. Ideally, you could get 2 or 3 good modifiers on one jewel, but they are quite expensive, so going with 2 for now. I'm gonna run this tier 8 map that's very juiced on this slot with the +1/+1 and then a map boss. This is like a 10, I imagine. Show you guys what the build looks like. If you guys use this build, I hope you enjoy it. If you have any tips to improve it more, that would be great. But I'll run this map. That was a rare. Yeah, that was a pretty juiced up tier 8 map with 2/+1 modifiers on it. Pretty easy. This build is doing very good for me. That was the last tier 8 map I needed for my progression, so now moving on to tier 9. yeah, that's it. That's my build. I've been seeing people run like Cast on Shock Lightning Conduit, but they're running it with Spark. Spark mechanics are very good, so if you want to run it that way, you definitely can. This is the setup I have. Whenever I get the 6th socket, I would like more projectiles, so I will probably do Wild Shards personally. Scatter Shot would also be very good, but gives you less cast speed, less damage on Ball Lightning, so I think I just want to do Wild Shards personally. Cast on Shock, just another damage gem, probably, remember what it's called. Elemental Focus. It can't shock already, so they cannot inflict elemental elements, doesn't matter, it's just 25% more damage. Likely what I will run right there. Yeah, very good build. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one.